Okay, let me take you through how I cut my trouser. So on fold, the lap we are using, the tie is 34, and this is 34 on fold. So what we have here is 17. So I'm just going to measure out the 17 and then I will cut out. So what we are working on is our tie divided by 2. That is what we are going to be using to cut the front piece. So we are starting with the front piece. We are cutting out trouser, so this is the front piece. What I'm doing here is measuring out my 17. That is your tie divide by 2. Then you cut out. So that is what I'm doing in this video. Just follow the step by step and you will understand. So after measuring out my 14 inches on fold, I'm going to be marking vertically all our measurement, as in the lines which we are going to impute our measurement first. This is our waistline. The first line I measure is our waistline. Then the second one is 8 inches downward for our hip line. Then I'm going to be measuring another one, which is our crotch line, where we are going to be doing our crotch depth. So this is our crotch line, and what I use here is 13.5. The person has big hips, so when you are making your crotch depth, hips is considered 2. So this is what we have, 13.5. So I'm going to be imputing our measurement now. I'm going to be starting from the hip measurement. The hip I'm using for this trouser is hip 46. So 46 divided by 4 is what we are going to be using. Your thigh is divided by 2, while your hip is divided by 4. So after measuring my hip divided by 4, I'm going to be imputing it. So this is it. I marked it downward on both my crotch line, my hip line, and my waistline. Then I'm going to be connecting it downward straight. So which I have just done. So after connecting it straight, I'm going to be making my curve, my crotch curve. So that is what I have done. So I'm tracing it very well so you can see. So I've already done that. So after marking it all out, we are going to be, next step is our waist measurement. So the waist I'm using is waist 34, which I'm going to be dividing by 4. So 35, waist 35 I mean. So I'm going to be dividing it by 4. So waist 35 divided by 4 is what I'm going to be using to get my waist measurements. So on my waistline, I go in with my 35 divided by 4, and that is it. So I'm going to connect that to my hip this way. So this is how I shape my trouser. So now we are going to be shaping the down part of our trouser now. So what you need to do is to get the midpoint of your trouser, especially when you really want to shape it. But this trouser, we are not going to be doing much. So from the front part, the one facing me, I'm going to be going inward by 2 inch, while the other part, I'm going to be going inward by 1.5. Then I will use my ruler to connect it. So when you want your trouser to be more shaped at the down part, you will increase your measurement. You can do 3 inches from front and 2 inches from the back, depending on how pencil you want it to be. So basically we are done with the front pattern. So I'm going to cut it out, and then we'll use the front piece to cut our back piece. On our back is where we are going to be imputing our sewing allowance and every allowance we'll be needing. So that is how to perfectly cut your trouser, and with this method you can never go wrong. Like, I've been using this method for a very long time and I can say it's one of the easiest. There are so many ways to cut a trouser, but feel free to try as much as possible method so you can get used to, so that you can pick the one that you are more comfortable with. So let's continue. This is our back piece. I already brought it out, so we are going to be adding our allowance. The back of every trouser is usually bigger than the front, so I'm placing it to put in how big I want it to be. For me, I usually use just 2-inch allowance from my front pattern, so that is what I'm imputing round. I'm just marking out 2-inch all round so I can cut it out. So what you just need to do for the back is just to mark out 2-inch. You can either mark in front or mark at the back, but I choose to mark in front. So that is basically what I'm doing here. I'm marking out my 2-inch all round before I cut out, and after cutting out the 2-inch, then we can say our trouser cutting is done. So trouser is one of the easiest clothing to cut. So here I'm done and I'm just cutting it out. Yep. If you are new to my channel, kindly like and subscribe. And thank you to all of my old subscribers. Thank you. I truly do appreciate your follow. So we are done. So what I usually do to avoid that gather in front, although it's not compulsory, but sometimes I just do it. So I will go down by 1 inch from the front part of the front piece, and then I'll connect it to the head this way, just the way I'm doing, and then I cut it out. So this here I'm just eliminating the gather, any gathers in front. So thank you.